All right, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Hopefully that's right. I think I've turned the mic on and stuff like that, and hopefully that'll be working. Let me just check it out now. Yes, I've got it. Okay. Well, I'm going to do something obviously a little bit. Going to try and do something a little bit different this time. A little Q&A maybe if anyone's up for it. But either way, I'm going to be talking about my animated series that I'm working on at the minute. And I don't know if you've been following any of my social media accounts. Uh, you may have seen that I'm working on that. And I have been for a while, but to be honest, I don't feel like I've ever really shared any background information or much about the show in general, other than, pictures of shots that I've been working on and stuff like that. But I thought I'd get it down on, like a little stream or whatever. Maybe me talking a little bit about my progress with that, give you guys an update, maybe some background information and, ideas where they stemmed from, different things like that. Who knows where the conversation's going to go to? I'm kind of just winging it, to be totally honest with you. Ooh, look, I leveled up. They know what I like, man. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting off track here. Now, one thing I did want to stress from the get-go is that if you enjoy animated shows as much as I do, and have come to expect that my show may be a comedy, you may be in for a surprise once you view my show after all, because I did want to point out my show will not be a comedy. And my reason for doing that really was the fact that I look at shows like The Simpsons and Rick and Morty, American Dad, Family Guy, to name a few. And those shows are always comedies. Now, that's absolutely fine. I love these shows. They are the reason why I wanted to make my own animated series in the first place. But the main reason why I steered away from making my show a comedy is not out of disrespect for them or anything. It's more out of complete respect. And to explain that is like, I I have watched like every episode of all of these shows that I just mentioned, and me as one person, as who I am, I literally, I was being realistic, and I said, there's no way that I can compete with these shows at all in any capacity, as one man by myself making a show. So that's what kind of steered me off the path of making my show a comedy in the first place. After that initial thought, I had like a lot of reasons to not make the show a comedy out of a more sort of organic place. Once I started developing the story more and everything like that, then it made sense that I'm not going to go down that direction. Now that doesn't mean that the shit's not going to be funny or that you're not going to chuckle at what's happening at all. It's not going to be completely serious either. At the end of the day, it's animated and it's fun as fuck. So, we got to throw fun in there, but it's going to come, anything funny that might happen is going to come from characters or character moments, not necessarily what's being written, but maybe just the situation they're in, or but without going too deeply into that, yeah, it's not formulaic. It's not formularically written as a formula, as a comedy, is what I'm trying to say. But what can I talk about next? Like, the show came from just the most random place. Like, the idea that I wanted to make my own animated series didn't come up for a while. I was actually in university, like, studying video game design, and we did little parts of like animation in that, certain little modules, and I found myself like drawn to it, man. Like, we were using Adobe Flash and stuff like that, 2D animation softwares, and a lot of 3D ones, of course, was the main thing. But that when we were using the 2D ones, I found that when I was going home after class or whatever, I was trying to learn a lot of things independently in the 2D space, and it kind of just came together like during that time as well. I was like watching a bunch of movies and shit like out when I wasn't doing work or when I wasn't in class. I was like usually in my room like watching movies or playing video games. So for whatever reason, man, I went down the rabbit hole of, and this is completely random as hell, but I went down the rabbit hole of like rewatching old fucking Pauly Shore movies and shit. Uh, I know that sounds weird, and it seems like it has absolutely zero connection with where I'm going, but for whatever reason, I watched the movie Encino Man, and in the UK, I think that in the UK it's called California Man, but in the US it's Encino Man, so that's what I know it by usually. But I was watching that movie, and it just sparked something in me. I can't fully explain it. It's I had this idea of like this kind of first of all, it started by kind of jacking the idea of that a little bit. I thought, what would happen if this was in a more modern day setting? So it was like, imagine if a caveman like woke up after being frozen, and he woke up in the year 2020 or whatever. What would his reaction be then? Rather than in California Man was set in the 90s and shit. So I was like, I wonder what the difference would be. Now that was the initial idea, and that's what I just started working on certain like little sketches in Adobe Flash and just toying around with different character designs and stuff like that at that point. But I had that idea of like, and then it started to kind of change and develop, and it ended up like this caveman somehow his TV, like, so he just settles into like modern life and shit, and he's sitting watching TV. His TV breaks, and he ends up buying a new one, and it's like magical and shit. So he can transport to like different time periods, and of course, then he ended up like going back to his own caveman time period and meeting up with his family and stuff like that. And then after that, I kind of left that idea for a while. I was writing and developing it a little bit, but after that point, I was like, where will the show go after that? Of course, these questions start to arise when you're writing an episode of something, and um, that's where it started going. So then I was really like, that's kind of limiting. So it was like it was. I like that idea of like TV and like this guy that starts loving TV because I love TV, but and of course like a lot of motherfuckers do, but that's why I'm making a show. I love TV so much, but then I was like, what if him and a friend like it kind of like combined then with like I was watching a lot of Beavis and Butthead at the time too, and it was like, what if him and a friend, what if Beavis and Butthead was in modern times, and it was like, instead of sitting in front of a TV, maybe they would be like sitting watching YouTube and like commenting on all different videos on YouTube and shit. They wouldn't be sitting maybe watching MTV, they'd be doing YouTube instead. So it just kind of started combining, and different things like different ideas came and went, and but I like this idea of like this duo that somehow got involved with something to do with like creating things or something like that. But I don't really want to like get too spoilery in this talk, but so I'm trying to kind of be careful about what I'm saying. I don't want to get too specific. So I'm getting kind of a little bit close to more recent plot lines or ideas that I have. So I'm gonna back off of that part for now. But um, yeah, I like this idea of like this duo, and so basically like it's crazy how it's went from me seeing that movie to what I know it is now, it's a completely different thing than the idea that sparked it, you know. And obviously that's normal for anyone that's you know, doing a creative project. It'll start out in one place from like a random ass idea, and once it develops and once it you know, you nurture it and you're working on it over a period of time, it changes into something that's hopefully is unique to you and like is it's probably, but it's, my point is, it's probably so far away from the initial idea that you had, but in a way it's like still a product of that. In some cases, you know, in, I guess in there, you know, there's other cases as well where it's like you have a vision for something and it's just there and you just do it. But a lot of the times I found when I'm doing something creative, that's the way it works. It'll come out like completely different than you initially expected. But I'm really happy with like where it's went to, and I think it's got like a good unique style to it, hopefully, and I hope people enjoy it. And uh, you know, to update you on what is happening with it, and I guess the production schedule or whatever. I can't see these paddles yet. Okay. Um, I'm about 8.5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes and 40 seconds in, and my goal for it is to have it like a, you know, an 11-minute TV slot. So basically, my goal is kind of like 11 minutes, just because I'm trying to kind of make it like as TV suitable as possible. So that's the plan for now. So I don't have too much more to do, but it has taken a while. I developed the idea. The idea has been in development for like longer than the production, like a lot longer than the production. So you know, a lot of the time was spent doing that up front, and now and then when I first started like creating it and you know, actually doing all of the work involved with the scenes, like the voice recording, editing that, and then I'm doing the soundtrack, I'm doing all of the animation, all of the voice work, like I said, like I'm just doing everything. So all of that's like, animation takes a long time to make in general, but when you add all of that other stuff into the mix, it gets hectic, man. So yeah, I know it's been in development for a long ass time, but you know, animation is a long process, so just bear with me a little bit longer. But yeah, I did want to, you know, just kind of give an update, and I just kind of felt like talking about it. I don't know. I feel like I haven't really talked too much about it. I've been showing certain things, and but just in case anyone was curious, you know, and I also wanted to have this on a stream for myself. I guess it's sort of like a production diary in a weird kind of way. Um, but yeah, oh yes, I would like to specify. I know I'm playing Dreams right now, and you know it just gets me in a creative mood, seeing things that other people have made as well in this. But I'm not making the show in Dreams. I didn't want to, just in case that confused anyone. I'm not using Dreams to make my show. I am using this to make other things, but for my show I'm using Flash and Photoshop primarily. I've done a few shots with Blender, but my use on that has been very light, at least for episode 1. Now, my vision for this overall, right now as it stands, is I have a pretty good base where I can actually be quite experimental, or I can be quite loose with genre. So you know, we're going to explore a few different genres in the first episode. Like I was saying at the start, it's not a comedy, so I haven't really discussed what other genres it will be, but I don't really want to give that away. That's why I sort of steered away from specifying that, but we are mixing a few different genres for the first episode, and the sort of basis of what the characters are going to be doing throughout the series gives me sort of room to experiment and kind of change genres on the fly. Now I do have a vision of making it a like a an entire narrative over seasons and stuff like that as a broader vision. But for now, my goal is getting up, of course, getting the first episode done. But I have a plan to make this first episode part of a trilogy. So it'll be 3 episodes following this storyline, and then after that, I'll start going into. Now I'm gonna keep, like I said, I'm gonna keep like a common story thread throughout seasons as much as possible, but I'm also gonna break off and do more standalone episodes as well. So maybe after the first trilogy, we'll do like a more standalone kind of thing, or something. I don't know how much that'll tie into the first 3 episodes, but I'm not that far ahead yet. Like I said, for right now, I've got the first episode all written, planned out, and I've only got a couple more scenes to do. I've got quite a bit of episode 2 written, and I have a pretty strong idea of where I want that to go. And season 3 in very well to this. So once the first episode does come out, work for episode 2 should hopefully be well underway. And when you do see the first episode, if there's any lingering questions by the end of it, now you'll know it's because it's part of a 3-part story rather than just a standalone episode. But yeah, I'm super excited and super nervous at the same time. Every time I even share a screenshot of something that I've drawn or animated, I get my nerves are wrecked, man. I don't know, it gets me nervous showing my work to people. But I know once it's out there and people have seen it, I'll be fine. But I can't like I'm saying, if I'm that bad with just sharing a screenshot, I can't imagine how bad my nerves are gonna be when I'm sharing the entire episode, because it's very personal to me, man. I guess a basic outline I could give of it would be that these 2 friends at the start are sort of struggling to find their purpose in the world. They're kind of unhappy with how their lives are going, and they don't quite know, they can't quite find any fulfillment. So we're gonna kind of go into a character study there, and I'm gonna be examining some pretty, I think it's I'm gonna be examining some pretty sensitive subjects at the same time as all of the craziness is going down that I've written. I'm looking into things like mental health, of course, and just different issues that these guys might be facing. If it was real people going through this situation, that's the way I took it. That's the way I've written it, kind of, is just from the standpoint of I want these guys to feel real. I want them to feel like real people as much as I can. I know they're animated, but I want their character to be real. So certain events that happen in the first episode are going to drive certain things in some pretty interesting directions, in terms of I've put a lot of thought into how, and I'm trying to be careful here to avoid spoiler kind of talk, but there's going to be a lot of looking into how characters are feeling about being in certain tough situations and how they're handling that. I want to really kind of look into that as deeply as I can, because for example, my thought was in a lot of horror movies, say there's a killer after everyone, they don't really I've watched so many of these movies, and a thing that isn't very common, I know it has been done, but it's not, for a lot of the movies it's not done, is that these people have a killer chasing them, and all of these events transpire, and at the end of the movie it gets solved and stuff like that. But I was left thinking these people have got to be suffering some serious different. They're gonna have a lot of different issues after going through something traumatic like that in life, and they're gonna be suffering maybe PTSD, or all kinds of, like, a whole range of different things that can go wrong. Like, once someone experiences bad traumas and stuff like that, and I'm like, that would be like an interesting kind of angle to look at. I think specifically for me, like, I would, doing that in an animated way is like, in an animated series, is kind of, in some ways, it kind of goes against what an animated series is, like, a lot of the times. It's because I know there are series that look into these issues and stuff like that already, but um, when I'm combining it with, like, my own experience and my outlook on things and the way I see the world, hopefully it'll be something unique, for the way I see it already, and like the inspirations that I've used for it. It's shaping up well. I think already it's something unique in itself. And of course it's because I've made it on my own, so no one else can make it, only me. But yeah, I kind of feel like I've had enough of talking about my animated series. It may not have been as long of a stream as I expected, but yeah, I feel like I've said all I want to say for now, to be honest. If anyone does have any questions, feel sure to put it in the comments or whatever. But yeah, again, I don't want to go into too many spoilers or anything like that. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. I'm just trying to think here. Have I spoiled things already? I don't think I have, so I think I'm okay. But yeah, I'll try to keep you guys updated as much as I can on the progress. Like I said, at the minute I'm actually having some technological problems I forgot to mention. So my PC is kind of busted at the minute, but I'm trying to get that fixed, and we can get back to it as soon as we can. But so hopefully that won't take too long. But um, I hope you're looking forward to seeing the show as much as I am to showing it. I know I was saying I'm like, it's like wrecking my nerves even thinking about it, but at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to it at the same time, because if I wasn't, I would just kind of make the show and not show anyone. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to share it as much as I can and hope that people like it as much as I do. And I really I've been focusing so much on, like, kind of what I'm trying to say, and be careful about what I'm saying. I've taken my actual streaming of dreams kind of for granted today. I haven't really been too focused on what I'm playing or anything. I know I was playing that pinball for a long while, and now I'm looking at this. What was this called? I didn't catch the name. Is it Roots or something? I don't know. This is kind of unique looking right here. That's a nice flower. Thank you, Mother. I won't let you down. But yes, I do feel like I've said everything that I want to say about the show. And I mean, it's kind of like we haven't been asked any questions, but so it's kind of hard, like, kind of divulging anything else when it's coming just off the top of my head like this. This is a nice looking game right here. Wow, I'm liking the color scheme and the design of everything so far. Am I gonna die? Yes, I am. All right, where do I go, Mother? Tell me the way. I guess I just had to jump down there. Instead, I chose to fall down the fucking whole side of the mountain. Okay, again, that was not the right way. Can this girl can this girl, like, use that stick or whatever? But yes, we have about uh, maybe 1.5 to 2 more minutes to animate for the show, and I'm gonna try to come up with a little way of, kind of increasing awareness of it again before it comes out. I still haven't thought of how I'm gonna do that, but I'll try to figure something out. I just want to get, like I said, it's good. It's gonna be good to have that awareness around it. So when it finally does release, then people may be actually interested in checking it out. Okay, so we do have some attacks, but I'm attacking fucking trees and shit, my dude. Breaking up them. What is this now? Okay. Control. Alright, so why is it showing me the controls now? Like, is that all that yellow orb does, is show you the controls? Can you not look at that anytime? Yeah, okay. So I've been seeing some impressive things on Dreams recently, man. I've been enjoying the streams of this I've been doing. And yeah, as the weeks go by, the shit that keeps coming on this is like, wow, these are some talented motherfuckers, man. Because I've been, dabbling in creating some dreams as well. What the fuck? How do I get across that? Oh yeah, okay, like that. I see. I should have read those controls after all. Am I going the wrong way? No. Oh shit. Right, I should have just did the double jump there like I did before. Alright, so let's get across this bridge. Oh, isn't that a pretty waterfall right there, man? It looks like it's going hard as fuck, my dude. This flower girl looks like kind of really small. Ooh, close. Close one again. I was really enjoying that game that I was streaming on here last night. Funky Bones. That shit is extremely well made. That it reminds me of, what is that game called? Oh man, I played through it and everything. It's, the name will come to me. I just forget right now. Anyway, yeah, it's totally slipping my mind right now for whatever reason, but I had it, man. I fucking had the name on the tip of my tongue and I've completely forgotten now. But yeah, it reminds me of another game. Totally useless information right there. This is a nice looking game though, honestly. Oh, I'm pressing square to attack instead of, and then how do I heal again? Was it square? Yeah. Get out of here, you blobby fuck. Alright. Nice job. Next area of the game right there. So that's cool, man. I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and follow that creation or whatever. I don't feel like playing through the whole thing right now, but that's really good right there. Root. So I recommend that if you have dreams. Yeah, search that up. And a lot of the games that I was playing on my last stream as well, I would actually highly recommend. Like I said, Funky Bones, and I was having a lot of fun. There was a twin stick shooter I was playing and a mech game as well. I would recommend those two. So if you want to, know what I'm talking about, I forget the names of those games off the top of my head, but if you're curious to know what those are, check my last stream. It's Dream Surfing number 6, I believe, whatever one I did yesterday. And of course, the one that I ended that stream on, Art Therapy. I've played that a few times. That's really good. Um, as far as anything else goes, let me see what from this stream. Yeah, the game that I was playing there, Omni Cards. I think it was the first one I played today. I've played that a couple of times as well. That's well made. I think that they could add like a little more variety and kind of. I feel like the weapons in the game don't really have any weight behind them, so they can maybe develop that a little further. But in terms of everything else, it's pretty solid little kart racer. And of course, they'll be adding more tracks and stuff over time. So I've went ahead and followed that creation. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A or this little talk. I didn't end up getting any motherfucking questions, but at least I served a little bit of background on the show. I'm happy that I, put that out there for the people to listen to, whoever is interested. And of course, if you want to keep up to date on my animated series, subscribe to my channel. Like the stream so I know that you've engaged with me here and that you're following along and all that stuff because I'm pouring a lot of myself into this creation and I'm looking so forward until everyone can see it, man. So, keep an eye open for that and I'll try to have as much updates as I can. But sometimes I just get so in the zone that I forget to do things like this. But I'll try better. I'll be better. But until next time, take care.